Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you the fragrances that I wore during the week. Had some really great ones, some oldies but goodies, and then a layering combination gone awry. So going to share that with you. I have one spectacular fragrance that I can't wait to share with you. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that button. Join the Weird and Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community. And if you already are a part of the community, as I've said many times before, you know how awesome you are. And other than that, let's get started. The first fragrance I want to talk about is Belle. Now, this fragrance has my heart forever. It's just a happy, cheery, girly, flirty / slightly sexy, pretty fragrance. So when I put this on, I feel pretty, I feel energized. It's just gorgeous. So this primarily has pear, vetiver, and vanilla. I know that there's supposedly a little bit of leather in this one and quite a few other notes, but what I get primarily, like I've said before, cooked pear with some spices, maybe a little bit of booziness in there, and it just kind of stays linear and absolutely delicious. I got a compliment with this one this week, so it's definitely a winner for me. One of the happiest fragrances in my collection. I should do a whole video on happy fragrances because they're kind of my favorite. Anyway, let's keep going. So the next fragrance I wore during the week was Mon Guerlain. Now, I went from being in a really happy mood to really feeling kind of down at the dumps, which is kind of typical with me. I'm either happy as can be, or I'm like devastated. So I was in a devastated mood. So I pulled out Mon Guerlain. To me, Mon Guerlain, like, it's soft, it's floral, it's sweet, it's feminine, it's very comforting because of that lavender. I just find it so delicious. It's got quite a lot of sweetness in it, but I feel like the lavender really balances it out. I wouldn't consider this overly sexy. I consider it more of a sweeter, kind of classy fragrance. This one also has sentimental value because I bought it and it reminded me of being a mom. It reminded me of having a mom because I just love lavender. Like I've said before, I used lavender products on my son when he was a baby. And then I just have the most amazing mom in the world that always used this Yardley lavender powder, and I would go into her medicine cabinet or whatever, and I'd pull it out and I'd take a sniff because I just always loved the smell of it. So anyway, and I have to say, I have the most wonderful mom in the world. She's generous, she's kind, she's loving. I always feel supported by her. So I feel very, very blessed to have had a wonderful role model in the area of nurturing, and that I'm able to now be a mom and hopefully, you know, do at least as good a job as my mom, if not better, because she raised me well. So yes, love Mon Guerlain. It's just, for whatever reason, very comforting to me and grounding. So if I need to be comforted, this is the fragrance I reach for. Now, the next fragrance I tried was Kirke, I think it's called, by Tessiana Turenzi. So that's a fairly posh niche house. And so I had the sample and I put it on and it instantly reminded me of Jasmine Wisp. And so I'm like, it smells so much like Jasmine Wisp. Like, not on the first spray. So when you first spray it, it doesn't smell like Jasmine Wisp. It smells a little bit juicier, a little bit sweeter. But then as it dries down, it smells exactly like Jasmine Wisp. And I'm like, wow, these smell so close. So if you have Jasmine Wisp, you know, maybe pass on this one because they are similar enough that I don't think a person needs both of them in the collection. Of course, the Tessiana Turenzi fragrance is way more posh than Jasmine Wisp. So if you want posh, go with this. If you just want to smell good for a little bit more affordable, choose the Jasmine Wisp. Like, seriously, I was amazed at how close they were. I looked on Fragrantica, and this is one of the ones as well that say that it smells like it. So of course there's differentiations always with fragrances, but they have the same vibes, same sweetness, same energy. The only other thing I would say is that although this was long lasting, I would say this is longer lasting and a little bit more potent as far as projecting and whatnot. But yeah, really beautiful fragrance. I think that the note that they share is the passion fruit, because that's, I think, the primary note. So both Jasmine Wisp and Kirkier have that. Kirkier has passion fruit, pear, peach, raspberry, cassis, sand, lily of the valley in the middle, and then the base is musk, vanilla, sandalwood, patchouli, and heliotrope according to Fragrantica. What I definitely get is that fruitiness, definitely the passion fruit. And like I said, this has a sweeter opening than Jasmine Wisp, but as they dry down, they smell very, very similar. Last week, I shared a combination that one of you suggested, and her name is Shushabella. I believe that's how you say it. So thank you, Shushabella, for your amazing layering suggestion. Someone else did this week as well. I totally forgot again to write it down, but the idea was using Roses Vanille and I believe Tuscan leather or some sort of leather fragrance. Maybe it was Ombre Leather. So I thought, well, I'm going to try something similar. I don't have Roses Vanille, but what I do have is Florence, and it is very, very similar to Roses Vanille. In fact, I would say they're so close, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart. And I'm usually pretty picky. So to me, this smells just like Roses Vanille. And then I have Leather by Attar Fragrances, and I believe this is supposed to be a dupe for one of the leather fragrances from Tom Ford. So I mixed the two together, and I actually really enjoyed the combination. What I like about adding a leather to it is it kind of tones down the sweetness in Roses Vanille or Florence. You know, any of the dupes for Roses Vanille, you know, would work. So if you have a leather, try it with something like a Roses Vanille or a Florence and see what you think. I thought it was great. The only thing that I found was I found that this overpowered this. So first I would spray them differently. I would spray this on top next time. And then the other thing is that I've got a dupe by Perfume Parlor that's a little bit more leathery and less sweet. This one has a little bit of sweetness in it, more so. So I think I would try the Perfume Parlor dupe of the Tom Ford Tuscan leather. Is that what it's called? Ombre leather? Whatever. Anyway, I would use that dupe with this, but I really enjoyed the combination. This thing is just such a massive powerhouse. So, and it's so sweet, and there's quite a lot of tartness in it. So that's why I really enjoyed it with the leather, because it kind of brought some depth and some grounding to the syrupy sweet tartness that I get in this. So definitely worth trying. And yeah, as far as lasting all day, it was amazing. So great combination suggestion. If it was you, tell us in the comments. Please say that you came up with it so that I can thank you, because it was a great idea. Okay, now I tried another fragrance by Mancera called Juicy Flowers. I think I tried it before, because this is just about empty. Really don't enjoy this one. There's just nothing overly exciting about it. Like, it smells sweet, but that's about it. Now the notes sound right up my alley. So you get red fruits, pear, citrus, pink pepper in the opening, rose, peach, sandalwood, jasmine in the mid, and then white musk, raspberry, ambergris, and vanilla. So sounds like it would be completely up my alley, but it's rather, like, it's pleasant, but there's nothing really noteworthy about it. So this is one I would definitely pass on. Like, it's just okay to me. Now, I had a fragrance mishap this week. It didn't go well. I don't know what happened, but what I started with was the Bath & Body Works Orange and Ginger Aromatherapy Lotion. Now, I love this. It's got a lot of zingy ginger in it with the orange, but the ginger definitely comes out nice and strong, and so I really love it. Like, that ginger is just so zingy and just kind of makes my mouth, I just love the smell of this. So I decided to pair it with Twilly d'Hermes, which has ginger in it. And at first I thought, amazing, what an amazing combination. So I sprayed myself. At first I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I put just a tiny bit of this Plume Vanille by Kais on. This has coffee, oak moss, and vanilla in it. So I just put a little bit on my hand to test it out. And It just smells sweet. I don't really get a whole lot of coffee. It just smells like a warm, kind of a little bit of a spicy vanilla. And it's actually a really good projector. So I put this on, and at first I'm like, oh, this is a really nice combination. I go to work, and then I keep on just every once in a while getting this gingerbread, and I'm like, oh, this was such a great combination. And so then I would smell my wrist, and I'd go, ugh, like it just didn't do it for me. This just did not work for me this week. So I always love the opening on these fragrances, and I really do enjoy this fragrance. But I just, for whatever reason, that like the dry down goes a little weird on me, and I'm not crazy about it. So what saved it was just having whiffs of this every once in a while. Every once in a while I'd catch a whiff of this Plume Vanille by Kais alongside this combination, and it gave me almost a gingerbread feel. And I loved it. Like I loved that gingerbread component. So that little bit of a kind of spicy ginger cookie is what I started to get. So I definitely think this would be an amazing combination, like the orange and ginger lotion with this vanille, this Fume Vanille by Kais. But this didn't work for me. I think I'm going to give it away. Like I've tried it a few times and I really like it. But then when I wear, like I like it, I like smelling it on other people, but when I wear it, I don't vibe with it. Like it wasn't like it smelled terrible, but I didn't feel like I smelled good all day. Like it didn't make me feel any sorts of awesomeness. I just couldn't wait till it died down. But the problem is that this was a freaking beast of a combination. So I could smell it from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. It was still going strong. But I didn't like it, and so I'm like, ugh, like I couldn't even stand the smell of myself. So then I decided to just kind of like, it was not as strong, it was still projecting. So I just went in with a little bit of an Absolutio, like did a couple squirts on my neck so I wouldn't have to smell that anymore. And I ended up getting a compliment. So I don't know if it was the Absolutio by Navitas or the combination of these two, or the combination of everything put together. So ended up working out okay if you want compliments, but I didn't like the way I smelled at all day. Didn't work, except for this Fume, which I think I might buy it because I just really love the warmth of it. It's primarily vanillic, but there's enough like spiciness from that oak moss and the coffee that it's yeah, it's definitely one that I'm gonna try it a little bit more. But I think it's definitely one I think I might get. Now I saved the best for last, and I am talking it's phenomenal. And it is Plum Cognac by Sense of Wood. Now this was a sample that Greyhound Mama gave me, and Greyhound Mama, thank you so much, because this has gone on my wish list. It smells deep, mysterious, sexy. There's wood in here. The stars of the show for me is the plum, the cognac, of course, like there's a bit of a liquor feel, but the wood really comes out. To me, it smells like kind of a spicy wood. So there's cinnamon in here, there's vetiver as well. So that's probably lending to the spice. There's also Peru balsam. There's labdanum, immortelle, osmanthus, and vanilla as well. I get mainly those deep dark, like the plum, the richness of that dark fruit. Smells like a really ripe plum. And then mixed with those woods and a little bit of that liquor feel. This is so sexy. Like to me, this is the scent that a really sultry assassin would wear in a James Bond movie. Like this is the scent. It is so, so good. Like I love, love, love this one. So this would be right up there with something like Blackbird for me by Untamed Perfumes. So I just find it uber, uber sexy. And honestly, Sense of Wood, they are such a cool company as far as their bottles are concerned. You can kind of build your own bottle, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They kind of look like a heart, but they're just so, so beautiful. And then the fragrances are all aged in different liquor barrels, as I understand, which kind of really lends the dark deepness of these fragrances. So I love Plum Cognac. That's the only one that I've smelt from Sense of Wood, but I definitely want to try more. This will be linked down below as well as everything else. I'll put the whole entire website of Scents of Wood down there as well, because they're definitely worth checking out. And what an experience to be able to kind of design your own bottle. I think you can do that anyway, so you can pick from like 3 different colors, and then there's accent colors. You can choose the color of the accent. And then of course these gorgeous fragrances. So if you've tried any of the Scent of Wood's fragrances, please weigh in below and say what you really like from the company. I think Plum Cognac is probably one of their most popular fragrances, because I've heard a lot about them, but it's definitely an amazing quality fragrance. It lasted long. I enjoyed wearing it. It felt sensual. It felt sexy, and it just smells. It's just phenomenal. Like, it's a fantastic fragrance. So if you like something like I'm thinking about darker fragrances like Black Phantom by Kilian, like Santal Royal, like Blackbird, where they're kind of deeper, they've got lots of woods in them, but like a little bit of sensuality in there as well. So definitely unisex, but somehow, it's just so good. So love this fragrance. Have you tried it? If you have, weigh in the comments. And that is it. The definite bust for me was this combo, Twilly d'Hermes Rich Auntie fragrance. I think you're gonna have to go bye-bye, because you're just not vibing with me. I'm not meant to smell like a Rich Auntie. I'm meant to smell like a Bon d'Assassin. Like, I can't have this. I can't have this in my life anymore. But I'm still tempted to get the ginger one because I love the opening so bad. So I've got a really weird love-hate relationship with these Twilly ones. But anyway, yeah, like, I smell it. I love the way it smells, but I just don't like it on myself. So anyway, what about you? What was your hit this week? What was your miss this week? My hit, Plum Cognac all the way. So amazing. Highly recommend. And that's it. I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.